Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to episode number 23 of Extend the Drive Best Ball Live. I'm Sean Mitchell, your host. Have another great guest on for today. All I know, he has really good picks, but no, he doesn't need just a really big introduction. He's been a grinder in the DFS streets. I believe he's now founded two companies in that space. Really sharp guy, won tons of money in DFS. But let's go ahead and bring on Mr. Justin Macmahan. Hey, Justin.
Thank you for the really big introduction. I do appreciate
Hope
it.
you like that, man.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. I don't know if I can really take credit for founding two companies. Technically, that's true. But I basically just folded out my first one and reopened it
Gotcha.
to rebrand and to get rid of a business partner that was a problem.
Okay.
But that worked out really well. I think the customers are actually better off. Everybody's better off. So reallygoodpicks.com is what I named it. I just kind of was like, I was throwing out a lot of
something generic,
there's a lot of companies out there with just like a one word, like a made up word. And I was trying stuff like Nike and Amazon, just like random stuff. And I was like, none of this makes any sense. And someone was like, well, what is your site going to offer? And I was like, really good picks. And I was like, I'm just going to name it that. Whatever. So like an hour later, I just bought that domain and
That's awesome.
named it that. Yeah.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Like I was going to ask, obviously, because I figured that would be a question that would come up. It's like, why really good picks? Because, you've got all the run pures and all the other one, ETR. So I was kind of like, really good picks. I mean, it's just, it's easy to remember for one.
Yeah.
And it's like RBG, really good, or RGP, really good pick. So, but yeah, I knew you had, founded DFI, Daily Fantasy Insider.
The problem with almost all the names in the industry is that they all get kind of specific, and then you want to branch out, and then you're kind of like establish the run. Awesome name for a fantasy football content. But now they're really pushing like golf, and they're pushing like other sports and NBA. And so then it's and that was the problem I ran into with my first company. We were Daily Fantasy Insider, and then we
want to get another venture
out into like sports betting, and people were like, wait, aren't you a daily fantasy company? So this one I thought really good picks, just a nice blanket, covers everything.
There you go. And that's what I was going to allude to, that fact that, you don't want to, hamstring yourself into one thing with that part of the company. So that makes a lot of sense. And I guess that's more of why you kind of went away from DFI, which is obviously sounds like a really good move on your part. But yeah, man. So how long have you been in the best ball streets long? Like, I know that I've been following a lot of your tweets and stuff, seeing a lot of the stuff you're starting to bull post about on the best ball side of things. So have you fully been into best ball for quite a while? Are you just really getting into it? Or, I know you've obviously been in the DFS streets for however long. So what about best ball?
I think this is my fourth season playing best ball. I want to say I started like 2020 or 21. Okay. I finished second for 100K either my first or second year. Whenever Alvin Kamara scored 6 touchdowns.
Okay, the 6 touchdown. Yeah.
Yeah. So
that was the Justin Herzig year, right? When he won BBM. I think that was him because he won. I think it was 2021.
Yeah, I think that sounds right.
Yeah, I think it was BBM one or it might have been the first BBM that he shipped.
Yeah, I think that sounds right, but I don't know the big as well as some of the streamers really just know the history of everything. And
I will say I'm not one of those.
I was going to say, usually when I'm studying results, the usernames are chopped off. I don't even care. So I'm usually just looking at compositions, and I actually find that a lot of pattern recognition, I'd call it, is not really productive. I find that it's, if you look at a year where all the mid-round quarterbacks got injured, like last year, then you're going to find that 3 quarterback teams actually do way better than you thought.
Right. So it's kind of skewing the data a little bit.
It really skews the data. So I think that the data gets skewed. I mean, people think of the whole season as like this big sample, but it's really a sample size of one. And so if you're looking back at like the last 5 seasons, if you were looking at 5 DFS slates, you would hardly draw any conclusions on what type of build works over 5 slates. But over 5 best ball slates, because it's been 5 actual years of our life, it feels really significant. So I kind of like to go a little against some of those trends, because I do find that there's value in the market over adjusting to a sample of one. So anyway, some of these guys are great players and they make good content, but I probably take a little bit of a different approach.
And that makes sense. It's like, you see from year to year, like last year, everybody wanted to fade the early running back, and then guess what? They smashed, and you
Right.
needed those guys. And it's happened every other year. It's like, okay, 0 running back won the year before that.
Yeah.
So yeah, trying to use last year's meta is not the smartest way to go about it.
The sample is small, but because so much actual time is passing, the game itself remains very dynamic. Like the sport of football changes a lot. So you can't even really go that far back. Even if you could pull 20 years of best ball sample, which you can't, you still wouldn't be able to draw that many conclusions because of the way the actual game of football keeps changing. So it's definitely it's a really interesting game. I think it's one of the least solved games of skill out there. Well, I would say poker's probably one of the most solved.
Exactly.
DFS is kind of right under it.
It's getting there.
It's getting there. And I like in my own projections on my site, we will compare, this is not available to the user, but internally we'll compare our projections to a lot of the other top sites.
Right.
And they're not that far off, right? I mean, even the site that you might say is the least good at making projections, they're only like a quarter standard deviation off on most players.
Right.
So
and that makes sense. Yeah.
You're not getting a massive edge just from having the best projections. You really have to actually think about it. And I think best ball is where you get the most edge by thinking. There's a lot of spots where the numbers won't really tell you the answer. You have to just think about it. I thought like a good example from last year was like, I thought the Panthers were the prime team where if you thought about it, you could land on Chuba Hubbard and Adam Thielen. But if you followed the trends, you'd think, well, I got to draft the rookies here. And so you kind of got stuck into taking a couple of bombs in Leggett and Brooks, who really never contributed.
Right.
And you could take Hubbard and Thielen much later. So, easy for me to bring that one up since I was all in on Thielen and Hubbard. But I'm not going to bring in an example from this year in case I'm wrong.
Right. Yeah. We'll leave that for next year. Right.
Yeah.
But that's again, that's what totally makes sense. Is like you get the coaching staff changes. You get, where running backs start to be split out to be more wide receiver. Like that's the change and the ever evolving, like you mentioned with football as a general, thing to look at, general topic. It's like, it's not just the same, run it into the ground, establish the run like it was 10 years ago. Now it's trying to make the defense, you're splitting out, they're doing the shifts, they're doing all this. Like you said, you got tight ends that are splitting out more now. So that's the stuff you've got to pay attention to in this game. And that's what I love about it. And that's why I played DFS for many years, and I totally just switched. I totally went from playing DFS to just totally playing best ball only. And that's the main reason is because I don't think it's going to be a game that's going to be easily solvable. And it pays to actually think things out and to try to gain those edges, being on top of the news cycles, making sure you're reacting to the market quickly. That's what makes you more successful in this game than anybody else. If you're just following along projections or whatever it may be, you're probably not going to have the success you probably want to have if you're just following along with everybody else.
And in years past, I have almost always just auto-drafted off my rankings. I spent hundreds of hours on my rankings, and then I just saved the time drafting. This year, I have a lot more interest in some pocket passers that I think you kind of need to stack. So this year I've been manually drafting, which has taken a lot more time.
Yeah.
My wife and I have come up to Michigan for the summer where the weather's good, and I sit out here on the porch and draft best ball teams all day. And
there you go.
It's not bad. I'm not complaining. But in years past, it was even easier because I was just auto drafting a bunch of like Justin Fields, Anthony Richardson types. Right. And I would have a couple of their receivers a little above the projection, above the ADP. But if I didn't get them, it was fine. I was like, I can still win with the naked Fields. It doesn't really matter. But this year I have a lot more like Bryce Young, Michael Penix, and I feel like I've got to stack those guys. So, so I've been manually drafting more this year, but I still think the key is having good rankings and good player takes. And I'm curious to see what these people using these solvers end up with their results, because personally, I don't get the teams that they're constructing. I mean, I
was going to say, you got to give your take on the, I don't try to get into the solver talk a lot. I don't use them. I never have. I much like you, I do my own rankings. I've really got serious about it within the last year and a half, 2 years. So that's really, I do the pockets, like you said, like at pre-draft, I went hard on my rankings because I wanted to just be the guys that I wanted. Once we got a little bit more news, I started to go back to ADP and just kind of see where I was at with the market. And then here recently, I went back to my rating or, my rankings. And then here, of course, I'm doing ADP now again because we're having so many shifts in ADP right now with all the news, the cuts, all that stuff. But so yeah, go ahead and let's hear the take on how you feel about the solvers, because I've seen the teams too, man. I've seen them, and I kind of look at them and I'm like, I have no clue.
I want to start by saying I don't even know who built the solver, so I'm not taking a personal shot on anybody or any company. And I think there's multiple solvers out there.
There are. I mean, it seems like everyone has one.
Not personal at all. But I think that when I look at the teams that I'm seeing are, people are saying this was built by a solver, I don't really get some of the reaches on quarterback. There's a lot of reaches on naked QBs that don't correlate at all. And it could be annoying, getting sniped. Like I had Hill and Waddle, and someone took Tua 30 spots ahead of ADP. I don't get how any solver could tell you to do that. So I've been really confused, honestly. I'm guessing a bunch of tweaks are coming to these solvers, and next year they'll be a little more refined,
a little bit more efficient, maybe. But
I'm still curious if how much value it adds, because I could imagine, like, if a solver had all of my ideas perfectly in there, and it was just telling me how to execute my own ideas, that would be helpful, because I have made mistakes in drafts, right? Like I lose focus and I don't take Burrow, and I realize, I started with Chase and Higgins, but my baby started making noise, and I looked over, and then I looked down, and I just clicked on George Pickens, and then I realized that I actually needed Burrow. I make mistakes like that all the time, but also there's part of, like, the fun of the game is kind of doing the draft. I don't know. I think it would ruin some of the fun to just have a computer telling me who I'm picking next.
Right. That's the same way for me. Draft. Yeah, exactly. Like I don't really auto draft. I don't think I've auto drafted any. Like I enjoy drafting. That is the fun for me. Especially whenever I get away from the family and can just sit in, and either it's in the morning to have a coffee or at night having a beer, whatever. Yeah. That's just what it is for me. I love drafting. I love the whole aspect of it, the strategy of it. And like you, I know I make mistakes, but I try to obviously cover that up a little bit by drafting volume. So that's the big thing there. It's like, it's like if these solvers can literally do all the game theory, can think about everything in real time, then that's one thing. But I don't think they can, and I don't think that that's ever going to fully get there with this game. At least not anytime soon that I can see with the way it evolves. Right? Yeah. I don't want to go to. I don't want to go to something else, man. I mean, that's kind of the big reason why I got away from DFS. No offense, but that wasn't my gig either. I didn't like to do all that, but. So that's a big reason why I transitioned into best balls, because I was like, man, this is wanted to get in early. I was playing back in like the draft street days, with the play draft.
Were you in the chat rooms in Draft Street, man?
I was on the late end of Draft Street. Like whenever I forgot who even that contest was now to beat, but there was a big name. I can't even remember who it was now. That's crazy. Yeah. But it was like they had the contest. Like if you beat so and so, you get $10 or $15 or something. And I started playing that.
I remember that.
And I ended up beating him once, and I was like, oh man, this is awesome. So I was like, so after that, play draft opened up, and that was the best thing ever. And I was really mad whenever FanDuel bought that out, and then totally drove it into the ground. Yeah. And then Underdog came out. So, but I'm glad that the game is growing. It's awesome. It's allowing us to do stuff like this. So you ready to draft for $2 million, man?
I am
ready to get this thing. Okay.
I have personally maxed BBM, so I'm excited to get an extra half share of it.
There you go. All right, let's see here. So we got the 20-second clock. I'm going to count down from 5 before Justin and I get into this thing. Please don't do the location error. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, we are in. We're waiting on 4.
All right.
So you have maxed it. Are you playing anywhere else by the chat? Green being, good to see you, man. Appreciate you dropping in. So are you drafting only on Underdog? You drafting all the sites?
I'm doing drafters right now.
Okay.
Because they made a really good offer.
Yeah, they did.
Where you can deposit 20% deposit match. Yeah. I won't say my code because you probably have one too, but
no, man, I don't honestly. But you're more welcome.
I think mine is like RGP for new users, and I think it's like RGP Reload 20. You can DM me on Twitter if you want to know, but it's like 100% match for new users, 20% for redepositors. But then they also give you like a free ticket for every 10 drafts you do. So I kind of did the math, and I was like, all right, I'm basically getting like 30% of my entries for free. And I think there's going to be overlay. Like every year they get to
they got overlay every year.
80% full every year.
Yeah.
They just run back the same contest every year. They don't grow. I don't know what the business model is, but it's I feel like I have to do it, you know. Underdog is where I've got, you know, I have 40 entries in the big dog, which some people tell me they think that's too many. And I would have said the same thing. If I wasn't in these lobbies, I would say 40 might be too many into one contest, right?
But we do have, before you get we do have the influencer 1.01. I'm guessing you're going to do Chase, right?
Yeah, I requested that for you, Sean.
I'm glad, man. Hey, we need it. We need all the Jamar Chase we can get. So
might as well queue up Higgins too. That'll be our second.
Exactly. We'll go ahead. We'll make sure we don't miss on Burrow in this one, though. The screaming baby.
Yeah, let's just take him at 48. Let's make sure we don't miss it.
Well, we're not going to try to push him 3 rounds either, and have that post that on Twitter.
So. I've tried pushing him so many times, and I almost never get it. I mean,
no, I'm the same way.
His ADP
never
is
comes
like 62. I would never, in my right mind, take him if I didn't have Higgins or Chase. Right. I would never take him from 60 to 72. Someone else can have him 10 spots after ADP. It's not my job to prevent other people from getting a stack. But for some reason, other people think that it is. So, yeah, I almost never get him pushed. So now I've just started reaching it.
Or he'll go to like the Chase Brown drafter, and I'm like, really? Like,
yeah.
It's like you're going to really just stack him with Chase Brown, the running back who, although he's supposed to be getting more volume in the receiving game this year, I don't know all about that.
Though he already got a ton. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. So, what were we saying?
Well, we were talking about drafters. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was just saying that. I think the big dog lobbies are the weakest ever of all the lobbies on there, because you've got people who are deciding, I'm going to do one $500 draft, and I'm going to get my guys. You know, like, this is my one draft at this buy-in, so I'm going to reach 20 or 30 spots for all my guys and make sure I get them. And more power to them. That'll be fun. That'll be a fun sweat for them.
Yeah.
But it makes the lobbies a lot easier for me, right? There's way more followers to catch. And then you've got a couple of guys in there who are just doing the weirdest stuff I've ever seen. They're taking 4 unstacked QBs. They're building like 4-5-5-4 builds, and you know, Renegades 88 is in there doing some like 4 wide receiver teams with like Torrey Horton and Isaac Tesla as his 2 and 3 receivers. So, who are good picks, but like, come on, what are you doing?
Not 2 and 3, yeah.
Yeah, so there's some teams in there that I view as highly unlikely to advance. So it caused me to just keep joining those fast drafts, because I just felt like there was just so much edge, and the teams I was getting were just so good.
And that's, again, like we've already talked about, like that's the biggest thing in this game, is if you feel you've got the edge, whether how big or small it is, if you feel you got it, you've got to execute it. You got to exploit it. So I totally agree with that. And yeah, I'm kind of the same way, like, which it's, you know, I hammer all the lower volume stuff, but those rooms are just as bad because people are doing essentially the same thing.
Yeah.
But it's funny that you bring up like the 4 quarterback instance, because I'm pretty sure it was ETR that had posted the advance rates, and I guess that one had an above average advance rate, kind of like the 4 tight end thing, you know. But I hardly ever do any of the. I think I maybe have 2 4 tight end teams.
Yeah,
I do not have a single 4 quarterback team, and I will not have.
When you're analyzing a season where 6 or 7 quarterbacks that went from ADP 80 to 140 all got injured, then it makes sense that QB depth advanced highly.
Right.
So yeah, I didn't read into that all that much more than just
and I don't either. Like I'm okay with looking at it as a reference point, but like, yeah, using that for this year, it's like I'm not going to do that. Like I don't care about it enough to implement it that way. Like I just more for the informational side of things. But we are coming up. And we're 24 and 25 here. Looks like T. Higgins goes 2 spots before us. So we have a run of running backs: Taylor, Jacobs, Trey McBride, which would be a Week 17 stack. Tyreek, O'Marion, Hampton. What are you thinking here, man?
Well, we could fully send like McBride and Marvin and go with that. Do you want to do that? Just kind of build like the Week 17.
If we do miss that on Burrow, we can always just take Kyler, because nobody seems to want Kyler ever anymore, which is good for us. So, and then we can have that stacked either way for that Week 17 game.
Exactly,
which we want to have any team that's going to play the Bengals Not just any week really, but week 17 is definitely the one that matters the most, I would say.
Right, yeah. I have a ton of Cardinals, and I do believe the offense has a lot of potential this year.
Right.
But you've got that week 17 bailout. Even if they don't have a great year, now you've got
all you need is that week, right?
Yeah, all you need, you just got to get there. Which
got to get there, right? But yeah,
I think, playing the Bengals this year just seems like a cheat code.
It is, man. We saw in the preseason there where it's just like they are so bad. They did get Hendrickson back. They re-signed him for this year. Good for them. They needed it, but their defense is Swiss cheese, man. It's terrible.
Yeah,
but that's good. That's what you want. Is what you want in fantasy. So off that topic, do you have any just strong fades in the first 2 to 3 rounds? I usually try to ask everybody because it seems like everybody has different ones. It may be biased. It might be, they screwed me last year, or but do you have any that you're just like, no, don't take them? And do you have 0% fades for that?
I do. I actually have a lot of 0% guys, or one or zero. One of them being I think I have 3 or 4 shares of Ashton Jonty. I have him ranked 17th, and a couple times he's fallen to 17 or 18, and I will take him. So it's not like I just hate him. Yeah. I just think there's 6 guys that other people don't want as much as him that I would rather have.
Gotcha.
I think in these early rounds, I think you're splitting hairs more than people realize. So, I could be 10% under the projection on St. Brown is another guy. I actually might have 0. And I think I have him at 16 or 17. He just never gets there. And, I think there's a couple of risk factors for him. I think that, losing Ben Johnson, I view St. Brown as the one who was the biggest beneficiary of Ben Johnson's scheme. And I also view Jameson Williams as one of the better up and coming kind of prospect receivers who could develop into a star. So I just think he has a lot of risk of falling down to the wide receiver 2 there. Or wide receiver 2 level production.
Gotcha.
Because he has those 2 factors. And I also think Isaac Tesla and Sam Laporta are.
I was going to say Tesla is obviously making his case for sure.
Yeah. And so I have a ton of Laporta. I just kind of chose to avoid Tim Patrick and Tesla for a while, which was a mistake. Now I should have just taken Tesla, but I was just that some of the beat writers got me scared that they were saying he might not make the roster. And I wish I don't listen to that stuff, but it sometimes gets you. And so
the news, it can go both ways, right?
Yeah. So I would say those guys are some of my bigger fades from the first couple rounds. What about you? I'm sure your listeners are already aware, but I'm curious.
I will say BTJ is one that I've kind of not taken a ton. It's essentially because I think that offense is going to be a little bit more condensed. I think that if Hunter plays exactly like we think he's going to play, he could take 6 to 8 targets a game. So, he's one that I'm not just generally really high on.
I've been plugging him, but I will say I'm most nervous. I think that's a totally reasonable fade. That's not I am appalled by at all.
I'm not really high on CMC. I will say that, especially since he moved from 16, 17 in the pre-draft, cycle. Now he's up to 7 or 8.
Yeah.
I know that's not just a huge move, and obviously we're talking about first round here, but we are coming back up on the clock. So let's go ahead and make these picks, and then we can chat about that a little more. We do have Jamar Chase, Marv, and Trey. Brees Hall's at the top. Kenneth Walker, Moore, Metcalf, Ridley, Waddle.
So
what are you thinking?
I'd be happy with anybody here other than Brees and Moore.
Okay.
I don't usually take Brees or DJ Moore hardly at all. I like Ken Walker. What do you think of Ken Walker as our first running back?
I'm totally fine with that.
Okay. If he
totally
stays
fine.
Healthy, I really
I was going to say I don't have a ton of Ken Walker because of that reason. And I do have, let's see. I'm a big Calvin Ridley bull, but that's me.
No, I have a ton of Ridley. I'm in for that.
Well, I don't know about with the suspension for Rice. I mean, I guess we'll go ahead and cue up Ridley since this is quick clock. But what do you – and I do want to get your take on the whole Rice situation now that we do know that it's going to be at the first of the season. And before we do that, Who Hangs, good to see you, brother. Who Hangs is going to be on later, so y'all stick around later on this afternoon. But, yeah, Rashee Rice, we get the news today that it is going to be the 6-game suspension. It's going to be at the first of the season. were you in on Rice before? Were you bearish a little bit because of that? What was your?
I've been out on Rice because I just am not as confident as the field that he boots Worthy out of that role and retakes it for himself when he returns. So I do think it's good to have the suspension known. I thought 6 was probably about what we were going to see, so that's not surprising, but it's definitely helpful for him to get that out of the way in the beginning of the season.
Right.
So there's more ramp up period before the playoff windows. But I mean, look, when Hollywood Brown returned last year, for the three games he played, he led the team in air yards.
Mm-hmm.
And when Rice was gone, Worthy stepped into that role beautifully.
Yep.
And you got Travis Kelce kind of saying, I'm feeling as healthy as I've ever felt.
And it could be his last year.
What was that?
It could be his last year. They're kind of talking like this is his final year.
Yeah, and he's kind of saying, like, I feel great. I'm not going to hold back. Like, I want to play every, all the down. So, I don't know. There's a lot more competition there than I think people are taking that 3-game Rice sample when Worthy was nothing and Hollywood wasn't there.
Right.
And Kelce said, I was really banged up at the beginning of last year.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
Kelce,
they had the Super Bowl hangover that we all, generally, which, Saquon, obviously it's not in that same reference, but yeah, I mean, the Chiefs had won the Super Bowl. I think, they were talking about Pat Mahomes coming in a little bit chubby. I think, they probably partied the whole offseason.
Yeah. Pat, I don't know what was wrong with him, but Kelce specifically said that he was dealing with some injuries at the beginning of last season that he just took him a little while to shake off. So
you add in the rookie Jalen Royals, you add in Tyquan Thornton, who's had a really good camp. If one of those guys, kind of like Worthy did, if one of those guys step in and get good rapport with Mahomes, who knows?
I think we also see Rashard. I think we'll see Rashard Smith play the Jerick McKinnon role.
Take some targets for sure.
He's a guy I've drafted a ton of at the end of the last round.
Yep.
I don't think he really has any upside to take over. Like if Pacheco gets hurt, I think it would be Hunt or Mitchell taking over the carries. But I think McKinnon put up some huge games in best ball. So I think you really like having that type of guy. But anyway, that's just more targets, right? More underneath targets.
And exactly, that's exactly that whole extra competition that we're talking about there. Yeah. I mean, and as we know it, like Mahomes is never. I say he's never had one, but he generally just does not focus in on one guy. He is so good that he finds the soft spots in the defense, which generally have been the middle of the field, the Kelce. That's what they all were talking about for Rashid.
When he had like an absolute burner like Tyreek Hill, he would focus on him more. But the thing is, like Rice was doing it all in the like kind of easy stuff, like underneath,
the middle,
like,
exactly. The short stuff, intermediate.
Stuff. Everybody on that team can run those routes. So I'm skeptical that Rice will be that dude when he gets back.
So we are definitely aligned there. Like we are fully aligned on that because I have not really been on Rashid. I had been taking a little bit of the dip just in case. But no, like in the early part of the drafting season, I wanted nothing to do. I had some whenever he first started out, like the very first part of pre-draft in like the mid-40s, early 50s, taking a little bit. But once he started climbing with all the news that he was, going to be healthy and all that, and then they didn't think he was going to get suspended. He really shot up to like the mid-20s, and I was like, absolutely not. Like I would not take that price. And Burrow goes to the Higgins drafter.
I figured that.
And he has Josh Allen too. He has Josh Allen.
It's interesting. All right.
I'm not even going to say anything.
Okay, so I think we can push Kyler to the next one.
Yeah, I agree.
So we gotta take. I like Olave a lot.
I've been taking Olave. With Rattler getting the job, I don't think he moves the needle either which way. No. I don't think he'll keep it either which way, but I'm definitely in on Olave myself. So
this is a tough spot. I like David Montgomery just because I feel like nobody has more contingent upside than David Montgomery.
Sure.
And he provides, he provided good scores at this ADP. Last year, he provided good scores at this ADP. And we never saw Gibbs miss any action. So if Gibbs were to actually miss games, then Montgomery's going to be an absolute smash.
Yeah, and I was talking to Al Book yesterday, and that's exactly what we said. We're like, we always talk about Gibbs, when Monty gets hurt, but we never talk about what if Gibbs gets hurt. I mean, he's not really a big back. He is a littler guy, littler back. He is a quick, jittery guy.
And anybody can get hurt on any given. Any given tackle can hurt anybody. It's not like anybody is immune to getting hurt. So, I don't know why everyone's like lost focus on that. Because last season people were all over that of like hey, Montgomery has this huge amount of upside as a handcuff. And then he had a really strong season without ever realizing his upside. And then people are just like, yeah, all right, we'll price him about where he deserves based on last season. And it just feels like I think he's my highest owned running back just because of that that upside.
Yeah. So got a question. Keon Coleman or DeAndre Swift? I'll get your take on that first before I throw mine. Who do you think?
Well, I think he was saying that pick we just had, that turn,
Oh, we
is
should
kind
have
of a
taken
tough
one.
spot. Like, would we want to take Coleman or take a guy like Swift? I don't know if he's directly comparing those two,
Could
but
be.
But I will say I like both of them. I took a lot of Coleman when he used to go. I think he used to go like 105.
Yeah, I think I got him even a couple times at like 130, 140.
Yeah, I was a big believer in Coleman just because I remember Allen at the end of last season was saying that it felt like there was finally like a really strong connection with Coleman. And I remember Tony Romo said something. I want to say it was week 17. He said, I was talking to Josh in the pregame prep, and he said, last week and this week in practice is the first time that I know where Keon is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know he's going to be in the right spot, and he knows that I know where he's going to be. And we feel like it took us 16 weeks, but we're on the same page. So I just kind of filed that away. I was like, all right, I'm going to take Keon Coleman next year because that chemistry with Josh Allen and one of the best offenses in the league, that could really be worth something. And then the Shakir high ankle sprain, it just makes it even more likely that Keon's the guy there.
I agree. He's a big red zone target too. He was getting a lot of red zone targets last year. And the same way, I've been buying Keon Coleman. Had a really strong camp, probably the best, well, obviously from what I've read and from what I've posted, he's been the guy in camp. So it does help that Shakir's not been there. But yeah, it's wheels up for Keon. Swift, but he did comment again and said he was talking about the picks on the turn. So that was what he was relatively speaking to. But I'm not really on Swift. It's more the format for me because I just don't think they're going to give him any goal line work. Like I feel like he's going to be the in between the 20s guy. Again, he's going to get a lot of the pass catching. He's going to be the PPR back that he has been.
This whole offseason with Roschon Johnson has to be one of the more puzzling things I've ever seen. I mean, there is absolutely zero.
No comments about him.
Zero commentary on Roschon, who I thought was a pretty talented back. I mean, if he wasn't stuck behind
out of Texas,
if he wasn't stuck behind Bajan at Texas, I mean, I think he would have been really solid. So I've always been a little confused by his inability to like get a role somewhere.
And then he did kind of have the goal line role last year. And that's I got conflicting reports this year. Before he got injured. Like there was some beats who were like, yeah, he's the clear third down back and the goal line back. And I'm like, okay, well, that's great. Like, hasn't been mentioned, but that's good to know.
Yeah, you shared that. And I was like, oh, great. And then I started picking even more of him. But then we haven't heard anything in so long.
And then all of a sudden it's just like total ghost. And then he gets injured. And we still haven't gotten anything on his injury. Like, there's been no updates on his injury. We don't know. Yeah. We don't even know if he's alive at this point.
I was going to say,
what is going on here?
Like that. I'm like, sometimes I wonder, like, are they keeping this so quiet because he's on his deathbed?
So I know we're going Kyler here for one. Who else are you liking here?
I like Mark Andrews quite a bit, but we already have McBride, so I don't know if we need to do that. Who would you take here?
Man,
I take a lot of Cooper Kupp, but I'm biased to the old man.
I'm kind of worried about Cooper now with Horton getting that and them shipping off MVS and I mean, I'm good with – I don't mind Dobbins and I don't mind Cooper Kupp. Which one do you like?
Let's grab Dobbins. Okay. I feel like you're not a big fan of Cooper Kupp, but now I'll sell you on Cooper Kupp now.
I am, but I will say that I have slowed down. I was taking him a lot at like 108, 110. Yeah. I do have quite a bit, but I will say now I've gotten a little bit bearish because – he wasn't really used just a ton whenever they were in the preseason running the ones, and then the joint scrimmage, JSN like totally tore everything up. Didn't hear one word about Cooper, and I'm just like, what is his role really going to be here? Because
I don't know if Cooper's a preseason guy. Like and that's easy to say, but I just feel like he's the kind of guy that's just like he's the guy you go to when you really need
a play, right?
And you never really need a play in the preseason. You're just running shit, you're just doing stuff. And I could see him just being like, whatever. Like, you don't need him to go find the soft spot in the zone and get you 7 yards in a preseason scrimmage. So I could see JSN standing out, and I like JSN too. He's great. But what I like about that offense is that I think they're going to use more of like a fullback.
Both of them interchangeably.
Model. Well, I think they're going to use like a fullback type deal with, under Kubiak's running system.
Mm-hmm.
So what that creates is just like a really funneled offense. Like, if you're not throwing to a tight end and you don't have like they're not going to put a fourth wide receiver out there hardly at all. Like, cutting yes to me says Horton's the wide receiver 3, and like we're just really not going to run anyone else. So I think it's just going to be pretty funneled. I think JSN, Cooper, and Horton get like 85% of the targets.
Do you think Arroyo's gonna take any of those targets? Because I mean, they are splitting him out too.
But I started drafting him for about a week when they got rid of Fant, and then I started seeing the way they were using Barner, and I just thought, oh, this is gross. It's good for Cooper, and like I have the most Cooper of anyone, so I am happy with that. But I stopped taking Arroyo, and I just felt like, great, if Barner's out there, that's just more targets for the 3 wide receivers.
Yeah. And again, like I said, I do have quite a bit of Cup. I'm not definitely saying I'm not fading him by any means. Do you like Mononga? I didn't. I will say I was kind of like you. I was taking a lot of Roshan. And now since the injury, I have been in on Mononga because he's still going. I've seen him go. I've gotten him around 18 plenty.
I mean, he's still hurt too. That's the problem.
Why he's not getting drafted.
We just have no idea what to make of this backfield. Swift's taking 100% of the work in the last preseason game. But is that because they really love Swift, or just because they don't have anybody else?
They don't have anybody else, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I do think they like Swift. I mean, people like to talk about how Swift and Ben Johnson had a falling out in Detroit. Well, the falling out was that Ben Johnson wanted to use Swift more, and Swift or his team or the coaches or whoever kind of was pushing back on too much usage for Swift was going to get him hurt. So it's not really a bearish indicator that Ben Johnson used to want to use DeAndre Swift even more and wasn't permitted to do so. That's different than saying, I hate this guy, I want to bench him. So
I shipped him off after we got Jahmyr Gibbs, right?
Exactly.
That's more of the discourse.
So, I don't think he dislikes Swift. I think Swift's probably a good pick around his ADP. I just never really end up taking him ahead of Tony Pollard.
That's a good point.
Since Pollard has a lower ADP, I just end up with mostly Pollard and not that much Swift. But I don't dislike him. Mononga is just hard. I mean, these 7th-round rookie running backs get a lot of hype in the preseason, and
they do.
And then it's not often that they really get there.
So we are on the clock.
They is their coach. Okay.
Shaheed, Bateman, Kirk at the top, wide receivers, getting Njoku.
I like
running
Kirk
backs. Like I'm very big into Kirk. So
I like Shaheed and Kirk. I mean, Shaheed's falling quite a bit here. I feel like we probably should take Shaheed.
Okay. I was going to say that, which we've got Olave. So, but at the same time, if those two become the guys, and stay the guys in New Orleans.
I was going to say, one thing I actually like doing with New Orleans is to take Shaheed and Olave, but then just not touch the quarterback spot.
Just leave it. Kind of leave it as
however this plays out. Like, what if the team is actually pretty good, but QB is killing them, and then they go get Kirk Cousins? Like, what if something crazy happens? I don't want to try to speculate on the quarterback, but I believe those 2 receivers are very talented. So, so I like taking them.
Yeah, and I mean, there's nobody else there. I mean, you got Juwan Johnson, but as far as like the wide receiver group, you got Brandon Cooks, who's
traded for Vele, who's just kind of a possession guy.
Yeah, he doesn't really move the needle for me. So I do feel like those 2 are easily going to be the top 2 targets on the team. Kamara is obviously going to get his, but I feel like after Kamara, it's definitely those 2 guys. So I totally agree. What do we
want to do at this next turn? Because this is where it starts to we really have to start strategizing.
Yeah, we're coming up to the 144, 145.
If we could do it, if it's still there, I like doing the Cam Ward and Chig Okongwu stack.
Yep.
Get that second tight end taken care of. I think we could
quarterback.
I think we could go 2 QB, 2 tight end with those guys. I don't think we would need a third.
I agree.
Do you like Chig? How much?
Yeah, I do. I do more. I took him a lot in the pre, and then I kind of rolled off. But I do have a lot of Cam stacks. So because obviously you could get all of his wide receivers for next to nothing other than Ridley.
Yeah.
But I took a lot of Chig, obviously because I was taking a lot of Cam Ward. I felt like he's still undervalued a bit where his price is.
Yeah.
But then seeing how they've been using Chig, like he's been getting used a lot. Like I was kind of worried that he wouldn't get as much snap share as he was getting, but now it looks like it's full systems go. A lot of people like Gunnar Helm, but I still think Chig is definitely easily the one there. And I feel like, he's going to play a lot.
Yeah, I view Helm as a little more of a project. I don't think he's going to immediately jump in there and take over the whole role. I don't know if you could see that butterfly almost hit me in the face. I think that Tennessee stack is really interesting because we've seen rookie quarterbacks carry best ball teams for years, right? I mean, we saw CJ Stroud did it, and all his receivers who were being kind of drafted too low all smashed. Then we see Jaden Daniels do it, and I don't know why we aren't interested in the number 1 overall pick.
I'm very interested in him.
Yeah,
and he does have rushing. He can run. I mean, it's not like the guy can't run either. He can run, and I think people discount that also from his game just because he didn't have to do it a ton.
Right.
But he can. Yeah. Like, he can definitely run. So I think
he throws. Like, I think his off-platform throws are so good. Like, he just puts his wrist so easily, like moving to his left, and
he's quick too. Man. He does have a quick release.
It's really impressive. And obviously, I am talking about my scouting report on the number 1 overall pick. Obviously, he's good. It's like you don't need me to say that he's a good quarterback.
Right.
But I'm just surprised at how little interest the field has after Jaden Daniels and CJ Stroud just went nuts and won best ball leagues for people. And now we're letting the number 1 pick fall to like 150. So I've been taking a lot of him. Anytime I get Ridley, I kind of look to pair him with Ward. Absolutely. It is hard to take Ward without Ridley because I just view them as being so correlated. But
it's definitely going to be a very condensed right there between them two.
Do it. If you miss Ridley, you can go Ward, Chig, and Ao Manor. And we may want to take –
I do like Elick too, yeah.
You know how to say Elick's last name?
Ao Manor. That's the way I pronounce it too. Yeah, so if I'm saying it wrong and you're saying it wrong, then I guess
as I said it, I realized I've never actually heard it said. Well, I probably have, but I haven't processed.
I didn't watch him a ton in college, but I've seen a lot of the camp, stuff, and he looks good. He looks smooth. So I know we got Cam Ward here. Are you looking at any of these running backs? What do you think here? We got Ollie Gordon that we could also.
Do you think we can push Chig to the next spot?
I think we can push Chig. Yeah.
Okay. I like
to get
Eckler or Benson there for me. I'm good with Eckler.
We got a lot of Arizona already with the bet on Arizona.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
We got McBride and Marv. I didn't know if we wanted to tack on that extra little bit of Arizona.
Yeah, no, I like Eckler. All right, let's take Ward, and then we'll hope Chig falls to us.
I think he will, man. He generally is there. Like, I think he'll be there at the next pick. But run down the team real quick since I haven't done it yet. Whoops, okay. That's on me. Quarterback, Kyler Murray, Cam Ward. And then running backs, Kenneth Walker, Montgomery, J.K. Dobbins, Eckler, and then wide receivers, Jamar Chase, Marv, Ridley, Olave, Shaheed, Christian Kirk, the slot demon himself, and then Trey McBride. So, I think this team's coming out really good so far.
Really nice.
Yeah, I mean, so what is your take on Bill? Let me get on that Washington backfield that everybody loves to talk about.
I mean, at the current price, I think it's insane.
I'm not paying where he's going now.
Yeah, you're almost paying Brian Robinson price. It just doesn't make any sense to me. There's a chance that we're all wrong about Austin Eckler, and he's way more like maybe he's going to take on way more than we think he can. Like he was so good in San Diego, and he's not that far removed from being a workhorse there. So. I'm not saying he's going to be a workhorse, but if Eckler even takes 20% more than he did last year, and Chris Rodriguez takes goal line work, then I don't know what there is to be excited about with Bill. I mean, at the current price, the people who got him in the 200s. I mean,
I was going to say I'm good with where I got him because I took a ton before he got really on the rise there, and I'm just like I'm good with it. Like I'll just be done.
The whole argument to me of like, well, the only reason he went in the 7th round is because the NCAA screwed him. It's like, we're not the only people who are aware of that. Like the NFL teams are also aware.
They know.
They could see his first 4 years of college were horrible. Like this guy maybe is the luckiest guy ever that the NCAA didn't let him play because it's given him a perfectly good excuse for why there's really
he didn't have that ton of production before.
Why there's no production on the books for him.
Right.
So
except the one good year he had before he started transferring everywhere.
Right. Yeah. So he had the one good year. And look, I think he's actually pretty good. I think he's talented.
Yeah,
I
think it got made the point that he was going to go to Ole Miss. I didn't know that. I didn't know that he had also got recruited by Ole Miss and transferred there and then went back. Like I didn't know all about that.
He could be really good. Look, I actually think in a running back class that's weaker, I think he goes in like the fourth round. I think
way too hard.
This year was pretty tough. So yeah, all those arguments hold water. But I just wouldn't draft him around where he's going today when there's just so much uncertainty. We just have no idea if they're going to come out with a 3-headed backfield where each of them play 30 to 40% snaps. Look, I don't want to seem like a Bill hater. I know everybody loves this guy. But look,
he is that new shiny toy, right?
If he plays under 50% of snaps and it's like Eckler for 40 and Chris Rodriguez 20 and, like, do you want him at like pick 120? Like, I certainly don't. So
right, and that's been the biggest argument is that Cliff's not going to use one back. He's going to use a rotation. He's going to use a committee, and that's all true. Like that is all true.
Part of the falling out with Brian Robinson might have been that he was in a contract year and he wasn't happy with the limited role they wanted for the RB1 there. I think they wanted to go split backfield, and Robinson said, "You're fucking me here. This is my last year, and I'm up."
Right. I'm trying to get paid again. Yeah, I'm trying to get paid here.
Send me somewhere where I could be valued. And
and then also like that could have really hurt him because now he gets traded to San Francisco where he's easily just a contingent back now. He's not even the one.
Yeah.
So really, in essence, that really could have hurt him way more than it could have helped him to just eat it, play this year under Washington, hope that he scores 8 to 10 touchdowns that he got 8 last year, and then get another paycheck. But
the problem is if you stay on the same team and your workload gets significantly reduced, it looks like you're bad. But if you go to
a on the clock, Justin.
Okay.
I don't want to cut you off.
Yeah.
Make sure
Chig's still there.
Chig's here.
Definitely taking Chig.
So do you like any of these? I like Ray Davis where he's at. I mean, that's
Ray Davis at 168. I mean, you got to
with Cook signing back, man, he has fallen right back to kind of where he was before all that hold-in stuff and hold-in stuff got really big for Cook. He rose up to like the 130s, 120, like late 120s, and then everybody once Cook re-signed, everybody's like, oh well, he's. But I mean, he was really getting used a lot last year. Like, he's going to see the field.
Yeah, he was getting ramped up late in the season. I mean, I don't think he ever crossed over like 25% snaps. But Cook was getting scaled down. Ty Johnson was getting scaled up. And I just think it's murkier than people think. If they're willing to give up to reduce Cook's workload, it makes me think that they are willing to raise Ray Davis. But
are you fading Cook? I mean,
I've been fading Cook. I mean, towards the end of last season, he was playing 40 to 50% of snaps.
That's true.
And to me, I'm not taking that ahead of Kenneth Walker. So, or even, it's hard to even click him ahead of almost anybody in the next 2 or 3 rounds for running backs. Right. Except for the goal line role is worth a lot. But there's just, what if they give that to Ray Davis? Like, there's no guarantee. Right. It's not that James Cook is so good. It's just running behind the best line that just opens things up, and the defense has to shade towards Allen keeping it. So, anybody could do that job. But they did.
Were you shocked that they paid him? Honestly, I was kind of wondering.
I was kind of surprised they paid him as much as they did. Yeah,
I was like, in a running back market, the way that we've seen it, just kind of gradually get lower and lower, and I'm like, they're not going to pay this guy. Like, I was kind of shocked whenever they re-signed him.
I don't see any reason to pay him when you've got one of the best lines in football that's opening up gaping holes, and now this guy's agent is beating this drum of he scored this many touchdowns. You got to pay him like a back. It's like, what in the world are we doing? Paying a guy for a team? That's a team stat. Rushing touchdowns are a team stat, not an individual stat. So I don't know why these agents are still getting teams to pay their guys.
Yeah, and it's not like he's really using the passing game. He's not.
Right.
Ty Johnson's in that role.
Saquon Barkley's agent has a case to be made because he's creating his own touchdowns from 70 yards out. But if James Cook is scoring from inside the 5, I mean, who cares? Jamal Williams can do that, and he can't even stay on the roster.
Well, and that speaking of plotters, let me ask you what's your thoughts on Najee Harris and this? Now that they're saying that there's a good chance he's getting activated. off the NFI. Chance that they're hopeful he's ready for week one. Or have you been drafting Najee? What's your stance?
I can see a path where he's valuable, pun intended. I think I think that, you know, I was originally in on him at like 110. I think that that's an offense that splits carries.
Yeah.
I don't think that Harbaugh really ever goes with a workhorse rookie. I think his entire history, every time he's had a standout freshman back in college, he barely always underutilized him. That was a big criticism of pretty much the fan base every time, is that he always underused his standout freshmen and for standout rookies. Even going, you know, back to early NFL days for him, I mean, I don't think he's ever properly, you know, in the eyes of the market, utilized a rookie running back. So I just think there's a chance that everyone ends up really disappointed with Hampton's usage here, and that he's like a 50% guy and Najee's 50%, and it's just super tilting for everybody who took Hampton in the third round. So I have 0% Hampton in that early. I have a few shares of him in like the 40s and 50s, but probably 1% or 0 total.
And we are on the clock, and A Manor is here.
Is Najee still there, or are you just asking generally?
No, I was asking in general because I just wanted to kind of get your take. No, he's not there. Taj Brooks is there. DJ Giddens, Garindo.
I like Giddens.
Giddens I do like really Giddens. Good, I've been buying a lot more. I've been buying a lot more Giddens, especially with them releasing Herbert now.
I was gonna say he's
wheels up the running back too. Yeah, I totally agree there.
All right, so we've got one pick left. We probably want to go wide receiver, right?
I agree. I fully agree. I don't. Are you taking a lot more than 6 running backs? Like I have a few 7s, but I don't think I have any 8s. Which I think I set my limits also to, I think 6, because I don't really just generally don't like going over 6, but I have in some cases felt like I needed that extra fill at the running back spot. So what's your build? What's your build typically looking like?
Usually I'm 5 or 6 running backs. And my thought is like these guys typically either they're producing every week or they're bums. So it's like I just want to build my rosters as if I hit on most of my running backs. So I think we got to assume that at least 3 or 4 of these guys are every week good scores. And then you just take the top 2 or 3 of those. So yeah, beyond 6, it just feels like you're banking on too many misses. Whereas at wide receiver, you can have a guy who's a really good pick, but he has a bunch of down weeks just because there's more variance. So that's where I'd rather account for variance. And like if Giddens gets the JT injury ahead of him, then he's a smash and we don't need him.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if he doesn't, then he's probably a 0. So like I'll take 3 or 4 handcuffs like Ray Davis, DJ Giddens, Trey Benson. And then I'm just kind of hoping, all right, 1 or 2 of these guys has got to be an every week contributor by the end of the season.
And I mean JT, as we know, has not played a full season in his last 3-4 years. Like, I mean, he's not been able to stay healthy.
Last year was like a uniquely healthy year for running backs, and it's making people think that 0 RB like doesn't work as well. Totally random. I mean, there's going to be a season coming up soon where 8 of the top 20 starting running backs are out, and then you're going to see these super teams where they've got, DJ Giddens is projecting as a top 15 score every week. And Kyle Monangai is projecting like
Kendry Miller,
Eric Henry goes down and Keaton Mitchell projects for 15 points a week. So there's going to be guys like that, and it's going to be super hard to win if you didn't take any of those. Because now it's like you're hoping your Elick Aoman or share outperform DJ Giddens as the starting running back for Indy. So it definitely becomes a lot harder to win without hitting on any of those if it's happening.
Fully agree. Yeah, I fully agree with that. You have to. You've got to take some of those shots on those later guys, especially the guys that are in the direct 2 spot, the most contingent, like a Taj Brooks that just went, who's behind Brown. I
have a lot of him.
As we've seen, Brown is
an interesting one too.
Yeah, Kendry Miller. Then now that he's fully locked in as the 2 behind Alvin Kamara. You obviously they are getting taken every draft. But those are the guys that you need at the ends of drafts, that just for every reason you just mentioned.
So what do you like to do with your last receiver here? Like, this is the dead last pick of the draft, Mr. Irrelevant. Hopefully not. I guess we can take Michael Wilson and pair him with Kyler.
Yeah, and that's fine too.
Who do you like to go with here?
I mean, honestly, I haven't taken just a ton of randoms here. Like Parker Washington is one I've taken. I've taken some.
Would you? I would cool it on him now that they traded for Tim Patrick, though. Would you?
That's a good point too. Even though I don't know if they probably don't play the same position, but that's a good point because I didn't think about that. Jack Betch is interesting with the whole Jacoby Myers thing. Jalen Langan is one that I think I've been taking a lot more lately because he rested with the starters.
But the guy I have the most of out of this range is Ray McLeod.
Okay, I like Ray.
I think Penix is a guy who spreads it around.
I don't do Ray.
I mean, I have a ton of him, so we don't have to. But yeah, but I like him.
It's up to you. I mean, I'm totally fine going that. Or
let's do it. We already have
Yoshi Voss is always an interesting one. I mean, I've been taking a lot of Trey Tucker lately too with that whole, But yeah, we can go Ray because obviously Ray has a role. We know he does. Don't really have to worry about that one too often much. But
I think that people will like kind of shit on a guy like Ray as like, well, he never really spikes. But like if you're out there 89% of the time and you're getting 6-7 targets a week, a spike is certainly possible, even if it didn't happen last year.
Right.
So I think he can have more spikes than people are really giving him credit for, especially in a new QB situation. Like you just don't really know. He could end up being one of the favorite targets.
He could. No, I mean that's exactly right. We did a 2, 6, 7.
I wish they didn't cut off the
I hate that
amount of characters you can use. I constantly run out.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put you as J Mac that way I can put it in there.
I figured that.
2682, right?
Yeah.
26. Yeah, that's what we did. Okay. So like I do with every get, and I don't know why I don't know if it's been doing that for you, but it's done that for me every time I've tried to save a team name lately. Gives me an error, but whenever I refresh, it comes up and it's there. But I gotta get a rating from you from 1 to 10, Justin. I do this with every one of my guests. So let's run down the team. Then I gotta get a rating for you, and then we'll go ahead and get this thing closed out.
Are you looking for a letter grade or a 1 to 10?
1 to 10.
Okay.
1 being lowest, 10 being high. So we did a 2682. We have Kyler Murray and Cam Ward at quarterback. Running backs are Kenneth Walker, David Monty, J.K. Dobbins, Eckler, Ray Davis, and DJ Giddens. We have a wide receiver room of Jamar Chase, Marvin Harrison, Ridley, Olave, Shaheed, Christian Kirk, Ayo Manor, Ray McLeod, and then ended it with tight ends with McBride and Okongwu. What do you think, and what's the rating?
I gotta say, I'm very objective. I think it's one of the better teams that I've been a part of drafting. I mean, we've stacked it perfectly. We got every guy we needed to fall to us to complete stacks fell. I think all 6 of those running backs have a lot of upside.
I agree.
It's a great team. I think I might give it a 10.
I like it. I love it. I love the enthusiasm. I love the confidence, man. I mean, because I'm with you. Like, I love Tennessee. Like, we got the triple there pretty much, with Ayo Manor, Chig, and Calvin. We stacked up the Week 17 Cincy Arizona game the best we could. And then, like the running back room is solid. I like it. I'm going to give it 8-9 just because I don't want to be too critical and too enthusiastic. I'll be the one that could be a little more critical for us.
I only have to rate one team so I can blow my 10 here. You gotta hold your 10.
I've got it. But I will say this is the highest rating I have given on stream so far. So you got the one spot right now.
All right. Well, I'm glad we did it in BBM so we can chop up a couple million. There you go.
That'll be real nice. And hopefully we have a really nice sweat come December-ish time. So we'll definitely be looking for it. And hopefully maybe we can hop back on stream and sweat it some during some games and chat it out and see where it's going.
That'd be great.
But, hey, Justin, man, I really appreciate you taking your time out and joining me, man. It's been a really fun one. Enjoyed all the discussion you had. You're a really sharp guy. So I really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you, Sean. You too. Yeah, I was excited when you invited me. I've been reading your tweets every single day on the preseason stuff. And I told my wife, she's like, I thought you don't really go on like podcasts that much. And I was like, this guy's blowing up, like, I was like, I gotta support the guy who's blowing up in the space. So you're good at this too. I feel like this was a fun one to be on and I enjoyed drafting with you. So
it went smooth. It went smooth.
Wishing you luck, and I'll be following along.
I appreciate that, man. So plug what you got. Tell the people where they can find you. Plug your stuff, man.
Okay, yeah, I've reallygoodpicks.com is my site. I think we're one of the cheaper, more affordable communities out there. It's $69 a month. You can get all of our DFS projections and our best ball rankings and our betting picks. So during football season, that's the most popular membership. It's just our all access, and we've got everything. So we even do like Survivor, and we do March Madness.
Oh, okay.
We do it all. So yeah, it's just like just a community of fun people. And I honestly don't do much marketing anymore. I don't know if you see my Twitter. I almost never.
Yeah, I know. I was kind of looking through it, and I'm like, I don't think I see any tweets.
We've got a really good community in the Discord, and whenever I do a big marketing push, we end up getting some weirdos in there that I don't want, and we have to kick them out.
That always got to ruin it for everybody.
Exactly. So it's kind of like let's
just be kosher with the rest of the group.
Yeah. So it's like let's just let a good thing roll. But no, I wanted to come on and see what you're cooking up here. So
absolutely,
absolutely. Thanks for having me.
And also I did link both. The link to run really good picks. I've got that down there, and to your Twitter. So got both of those. If you want to go, you guys go check it out. Check out Justin. Go over to Really Good Picks. Check out his stuff. Great stuff. Obviously, sharp dude. Got Who Hames coming on later. Got some more guests coming on this week. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hit a like, hit a sub. Appreciate you all. We're going to close out episode 23. Thanks again, Justin.
Thanks.